Hello and welcome back. My name is James McNeil. You're here at mentalmma.com, your information source for the mental game of mixed martial arts. My name is James McNeil. This particular session within the Emotionally Intelligent Fighter is entitled Self-Image, Self-Esteem. I cannot overstate just how central this is to a total wellness of life, of family, of relationships, of business, of mixed martial arts. Very few things are as central as this topic, how I perceive myself, how I manage my impressions of myself, my beliefs of myself, my feelings of myself. And so very important, central to everything. This will continue to be unpacked as we talk about other topics and apply it to fight predictions and so on. But let's just begin by breaking down what is self-image, what is self-esteem. Whether you're a trainer, whether you're a coach, whether you're a cornerman, whether you're a fighter, whether you're a fan like me, whether you're a gambler for pride or profit, this is essential information for ourselves personally and professionally, and of course within mixed martial arts. So let's go. Let's start with what is self-image. It's kind of inside of the word, but the clue is image, and it means how do I see myself. So how do I see myself is, think about it this way, we have a million self-images. We have one self-esteem. So a self-image is how I see myself as a, and then you fill in the blank. So how do I see myself as a dancer? How do I see myself as a musician? How do I see myself as a grappler? How do I see myself as a striker? How do I see myself as a human being, as a friend, as a businessman, as a money manager, as a husband or wife? So how I see myself in that role will determine how I'm going to behave and the expectation I place on myself. Self-image is kind of like a thermostat. If I assume my income should be, let's say, $100,000 a year, well then if I'm behaving in a way, if my month doesn't produce, let's say, 9,000, something like that, you get the idea? If my month doesn't make that, I feel tension, and that tension must be relieved. I must find a way to fix it. If it's too low, I get all tense and I have to find a way to bring it up. If it's too high, I have to bring it down. Now, I know you might think that's crazy. No one would do that. Listen, in my research, I think self-sabotage is the most common thing. It is the plague on our planet today. It's self-sabotage. I don't think the enemy is outside of ourselves. I believe the enemy is inside of ourselves. And so we will live according to our expectations we've placed on ourselves. That is self-image. I see myself as a good person. When I behave outside of that, I feel very uncomfortable. I have to correct. I have to apologize. I have to realign myself to my vision. For an example, you may know the name Donald Trump. Most people do. Well, there is a time that he was broke. He might be broke again. Don't know. None of my business. But, whoa, I'm throwing things. Sorry about that. I'm sure my son will edit that out. Anyways, back to that. Donald Trump has had tough times financially. Of course, we know him to be a wildly successful financial person in the world of real estate and otherwise. There was a time that he was on a downturn, and he tells the story of walking into the Trump Tower, and he was walking with his daughter, and there was a homeless person begging, and Donald Trump turned to his daughter, and you know, they're dressed up nicely, and they're going into their castle in the air, and all of that. But he turned to his daughter and he said, you know, that man's personal net worth is greater than mine. He is more financially well off than I am right now, and yet he was not living it. He was behaving like a very, very wealthy person. And you might say, oh, what does that mean? Buy a fancy suit and somehow the money will show up? No, you might just go broke overspending. But what he was saying was he had lost on a big scale massive amounts of money. Now he's in the negative. Donald Trump did not rest. He did not stop. He sees himself as being the Donald Trump on top of the world. And he fought and worked, and he has tools and resources. He has skills and abilities. He has contacts and potentialities. And so he just pulled all those resources together to get back to where he was and try and get back on top. And so some of us say, I should be there financially, and so I work to achieve that. Where we set our thermostat is where we're going to work. Just like the thermostat in a room. If it gets too hot, the air conditioning comes on and brings it down. If it gets too cold, the heat kicks in and brings it up. The setting we set for ourselves in all arenas of life is what we're going to force ourselves to live up to or live down to. So be mindful what you say about yourself, what you believe to be true about yourself. Let me go one more step and then I'll move on. Hopefully this is helpful stuff. One more step and then I'll move on. Self-image also is our own invention. What we found with like child prodigies, kids who can play, you know, concert violinist at the age of 4. We wonder why. Well, when we researched it, what we found is belief precedes evidence 100% of the time. So first the child believed they could, then they began to show evidence, not the other way around. We always assume that first a child sees evidence, or parents see evidence, belief is formed based on the evidence, and then the evidence is built. Well, no. What we found is actually a belief precedes anything. For no reason, a person believes something, then they begin to act it out. So please know this, you can realign your self-images. You can say, well, I used to this, that's fine, that's true, that's honest, but now who knows how far I can get, and who knows how good I can get at striking or takedowns. Maybe that's not my past, but it is in my future. George St. Pierre didn't say, well, I didn't wrestle in college, so I don't have a chance of being a great wrestler. He is seen to be now, and I don't think there's any argument, he is the premier wrestler in the world of mixed martial arts today, and yet he did not go through the traditional wrestling school on his way up. His self-image said, maybe I can. Maybe I can. And he simply began the quest to become great at something. So self-image, how I see myself, it is vital. It affects how we behave, how we grow, how we improve or go down. By the way, this is also why some people can lose a championship really, really fast, because they didn't see themselves as a champion. And so one has to actually accept that title, or they're going to lose it, because they have extreme discomfort with that image because it doesn't align with what they see about themselves in their head. Real powerful psychological stuff. I would encourage you not to underestimate the power of this.